for our first flight to Dubai.
Hello friends, a very warm welcome to all from 60 and Traveling. I'm Sunita.
And I'm Rajiv. Friends, today we take you on a different kind of a journey. We have been not traveling for the last more than 18 months. So this is our first international outing after such a long time. And this is from India to Canada via Dubai. Why via Dubai? Because the Canadian government wanted the RT-PCR test to be conducted outside India. That's why we have to take this route. So we give you a brief of what kind of challenges and what kind of situations we faced during this transit from Delhi to Toronto.
Yeah, so we had to do a lot of planning prior to our travel. And the very first step was to get an RT-PCR test done 48 hours before we boarded the flight. So, and that too from a registered lab in New Delhi. So, and that test had to be negative. So, we went in for the test, and thankfully it was negative. So, we were all packed, ready.
Yeah.
And so, we reached the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Our flight was at 9:20, but we reported there 6 hours before the flight. There's a lot of things had to be done there. And the very first thing was
A rapid PCR test which
Yeah.
was conducted on the first floor of the complex, IGI Terminal 3 complex. The test itself didn't take much of a time, but we had to wait for more than an hour to get its report, because without getting a negative report, we were not permitted to check in.
Yeah, though we had already checked in online,
Yeah.
but we had to be there
Baggage
for
drop.
baggage drop.
Baggage drop.
And when we reached, after getting the report, when we reached the check-in counter, there was such a long queue.
Yes.
Like we got another hour to go
Yes.
before we could drop our baggages there. So,
But then
luckily for us,
a good Samaritan turned up.
Huh.
One of the supervisors of the airline which we were flying, and he escorted us to the front desk straight away and asked the guy there to review our papers.
and all our documents were checked, they thoroughly checked both the test reports like RT-PCR and the rapid PCR test, plus
Visa.
our visa
UAE
for
visa.
UAE, which we had already taken.
Yes. In fact, we did not wait for we had the option of going for visa on arrival, but that would have meant spending additional 1 hour or more at the Dubai
At the
airport.
airport, yes.
So to avoid that, we applied for visa and we got it within 3 days before we left Delhi.
Yeah. So after getting our documents checked, then we dropped our baggage there, and that didn't take time. And from there we went to the immigration, where again we just checked all our papers.
Again papers were
Huh.
checked. Yes.
The test reports plus the visa and then security check, all that happened very fast.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Of course, another thing they wanted to know our travel plan in terms of where we are going after Dubai and when we are returning to India. So those tickets also had to be shown to them.
So we were carrying a return ticket as well.
Yes.
So after
After that we
felt
had
so
for that-
relieved after the security
Yeah,
check was done.
it was
Finally
such a
the first leg we had.
Yes. And then we were also very hungry by then, because we had left our home almost 4-5 hours ago.
Yeah, around we left around
And-
12 midnight
Yes.
at night.
Yes. So we went to have a quick bite at a joint food joint there. And after that we headed for the boarding area. Now before we thought, after waiting for some time, we thought that there was a kind of an announcement for boarding, but soon it turned out to be not an announcement for boarding, but an announcement for another check of all the documents of everybody. So in all, before we boarded the flight, even in Delhi, the first flight, our documents were checked 5 times.
But we were happy that everything was so well organized.
Yes, it was so well
And
organized.
in fact, because Rajiv's seat was the middle seat, so he even got a PPE kit.
Kit.
So we were there with the mask, the face shield, and the PPE kit as well
Yes, yes.
for our journey to Dubai.
Correct, correct.
So finally,
After
we were so excited.
after boarding the flight, yes,
Ah.
quite an uneventful flight from here. Nice
So
flight.
initially we were quite nervous about the whole thing, but once inside the plane,
It
we
turned
were
out.
relieved. Yes.
It was
Finally, we are on our way.
on our way.
First journey.
Yes, yes.
When we reached
Yes.
the airport, Dubai airport,
Dubai airport.
so straight away they took us for another test to be done there.
That was again at the airport itself, a PCR test, some kind of a rapid PCR test that was conducted by the government there. So
That was mandatory.
that was
We had to
mandatory.
go
That was mandatory.
for everyone.
And not only the test was mandatory, but till the test report comes out, if it's negative, you are supposed to be quarantined. You are supposed to be in quarantine either at your home or in the hotel where you are going, and you can come out and mix with people only after the negative report is received. So we from the after the test report came, after that giving out the sample, we went for the immigration
Their things are very smooth.
and baggage collection. All these things are very
It
smooth.
took, I think, around 15 minutes, just the immigration and
Yeah.
collection of baggage. And
Going for baggage and for immigration at Dubai.
And then the
the
cab was waiting for us.
For
We had
us.
already booked there, the car. So the cab was waiting for us. We got
took
into
us
it.
straight to the hotel.
And there was about a 15-20 minutes drive to the hotel where we were staying. But then we were supposed not to move out at all. But the report came very fast. The report for the first PCR report of Dubai came very fast.
I think it took around 5 hours or so.
Yes.
And we got a report, and the very same evening we went in for another test.
Yes.
Another RT-PCR test, which was mandatory before we could enter Canada.
Yes.
So that took a long time. The
That-
person came over to the hotel, to our room itself, because we were not supposed to move out. So took the sample, and there the report came after around 18 hours.
About 18, 20 hours.
18-20 hours.
It
Yeah.
came, later it came.
So we were relieved that both the reports were negative.
After that, it was only waiting for the flight time. And we had kept 1 day extra so that in case any of the 2 reports get delayed, then we don't miss our flight.
And plus we had to fill in that Arrive can.
Arrive can, that was the next step for getting
Which
into
took some time.
Arrive can was quite a detailed document which we had to fill in online.
Only after we got the report for both the tests.
Yes, and also that could not have been filled in advance. That had to be filled within 72 hours of the flight time. So we had to do it only in Dubai. We could not have done it in Delhi in any case. So that took some amount of time, filling up the form, its detailed requirements. After that, I guess we were ready for departure from Dubai.
From the
And a long haul flight, 15 odd hours, non-stop flight, which was time was increased by another half an hour. We don't know.
Actually, we had very comfortable seat just next to the exit.
Yes.
So
yes.
a lot of
leg
leg
space.
space.
We had a lot of leg space in the seat that we got, and this.
We use that time, utilize that time for sleeping so that we are
most
fresh
of the-
once we land in Toronto.
Okay. So by and large, though it was quite a smooth process, but I guess it was smooth because we had made a lot of advanced preparation. I mean, we had pored over all the rules and regulations.
Just follow all the rules and regulations.
At both at Dubai and Canada,
And-
whatever other, to
And have all the proper papers, documents,
Yes.
and then no hassles at all
Yes,
if
yes.
you travel.
Very true. But you can't take it casually. That okay, everything is okay and nothing is material. Every small detail is very, very material for them. So that you have to make sure. Like to give you just one small example, the RT-PCR report in Delhi, we had got online copy of the report. We had taken a printout online from the website of the company which had done the test. But that was not enough. We had to go to the company, we had to go to the lab and collect a printed printed copy on their stationery for giving at the airport. So those kind of very small details one can't afford to miss when traveling international during COVID times.
COVID times and all the precautions have to be taken.
So happy travels
To everyone, yeah.
everyone.
So
COVID
just
times
take
is-
precautions, then traveling is not going to be difficult at all. Yeah.
It's safe for you also and safe for others. So enjoy your trips.
And have a great time traveling. And
Bye.
bye bye.